What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review the debut album by country duo Florida Georgia Line. Basically this product is called Here's to the Good Times. And it came out in the late fall of 2012. The thing about these particular folks, I remember them from back in the day. I definitely remember the hit single Cruise as far as those pitches can happen. That was a huge crossover single that was like a big deal in like the early 2010s pitches like that. Some of those type folks like, Imagine Dragons, even though they weren't country, they're just for some ones, some crossover songs that kind of were on rhythmic radio and Billboard 100 type radio that were not necessarily within the pitch behind it. This tended to happen more in like 2011, 2012, 2013, some of those type fairs, some good typeness kind of get. This is basically, I would have to say this is like a classic country album out of the early 2010s that I'd say. Pretty similar to like Night Train by Jason Aldean and then like Taylor Swift's Red, some of those type of ones. Definitely 2012 was a pretty good year for country music and contemporary type stuff. I want to say Luke Bryan had some stuff as well as some folks like that. There's some other folks in there, but just within the fair behind it, this definitely impactful type one. Now Florida Georgia Line continues to have like the here and there type stuff just within the flair behind it. It seemed like their biggest hit for the most part, not to say like it's just definitive like full blown, but just kind of within the aspect, one of their most notable hits that continues to have a lot of distinction is the song Cruise. Later on, the song went on to have a remix with Nelly. They re-released this particular album, which I will review that album later on. Here's to the Good Times, like This Is How We Roll, which was a re-release of like an EP with a few extra songs in 2013, which was just like a bonus expansion of that particular album. So we'll get to that later, but just within the pitch, I want to get to this album. I do own this album. I know a number of songs off this particular product, so I figured we'd belt out this review to get towards it, just get some more country music in there because it's been somewhat of a while as far as this pitch is going to happen. So I look after it. Good excellent type fare here. This is once again like a country music classic out of the early 2010s. Had 4 singles pitched like that. All 4 of these singles off this project hit #1 on the country music charts back in those days. So it was pretty much competing with Taylor Swift and Jason Aldean, some of those type folks, and other folks amongst those particular tangents. I'd have to say it was just some excellent type fare. Gonna get it here. Now in terms of like Billboard 100 type appeal, it seemed like the main song that got the anchored. I mean, there were some ones that hit like the top 25, top 30 of the Billboard 100, but in terms of like the pitches, the hugest one, it would be, for the most part, it would be Cruise. But this album definitely does have like a good amalgamation of a number of styles. Does have like some kind of more romantic type country songs in here, which work pretty damn well within the pitch. And there's also like some tailgate kind of bonfire kind of just bar hopping type tunes just within the pitch. So the thing about these folks is the fact that they do get turned up within the pitch. They're not shy about beer swelling pitches like that, some hard liquor, some of that type of just within the pitch behind it. Very fun type concept we kind of have within some of that tone. More so than Jason Aldean, I would say, within the concept. Now, Jason Aldean does have his liquor songs and pitches like that, but this particular product just has the spice of having like that extra conduct of this having maybe not every single song on here has like the turn up of like an aspect of just like tailgate parties and this full blown kind of furor, but there's enough pitch behind this particular product to be able to say that you do get some good charmers within that aspect as far as like some good kind of backyard fun pitches like that. So it's just good type appeal, has a good aspect, good nice balance of this like an impact, this compact type album that just nailed the pitch behind as far as just being a refreshing country album that just was able to nail the particular vibes and just get to like highlight the type of appeal within the aspect of something contemporary. When you think, for the most part, thinking of country albums that tend to be classics from back in the day, like maybe George Strait or like Tim McGraw or like Keith Urban or folks like that. Some of those type of folks, Billy Ray Cyrus in particular. This is a more notable one in like the recent times, at least to like the early 2010s. So it's just some good type fare to kind of have some of this. So yeah, basically this got to the 4th single. I recommend all 4 of the singles, and basically I'll go ahead and say I recommend every song out of the 11 songs on this album. I wound up recommending every song -1. So this album is going to get a 10 out of 10, like I was saying. We'll go ahead and talk about the singles first. So the first single is Cruise, very notable type 1 signature type country song out of the early 2010s. I'd say probably one of the larger ones from that full decade. I'd have to say, apart from like some of the big names like Taylor Swift and folks like that, I had to say. But Cruise is basically like, it's like a basic kind of tailgate party and summer fried kind of late day stretcher. Cruise is like a basic kind of tailgate party and summer fried kind of late day stretcher to kind of get within that tone. Just the last few moments of like a good fest kind of day. The song would be like the last few moments like a good fest day to kind of get within that pitch behind it, just within the fair as to how that particularly happens. I feel like this is not like the pitch of like the afternoon or something like that. This would not be like a song for 1:30, 2:30, but more of like 4:45, 5:15 as you start to head out and go with Bay as far as those pitches can happen. Just figure out the concept of like, all right, this was fun, but it's time to get to Cruise and some of that type fare. Figure out what the next advent's going to be within the tone behind it. Just the relative pitch and just those last moments having maybe like a half bottle of beer left in your bottle, something like that. one last swisher, something in that relative type fare, something within that, just a little bit more smokish. The last little bits, 5, 15, 25 more minutes of chatting, and then the conduct of just being on the way. Just a good type concept, just a good tailgate type party, just fair, just a little bit more in wind down type mode, but it has pretty affable type chorus on here, just within the pitch behind it. I mean, it's a malaise type song, definitely some sunset gazing with the pitch, but it just has the aspect of having like that energy of still being in a relatively kind of mode that's just not going home and settling in as far as those fairs can happen, but just on the more kind of relative verge of just like and just heading out, just kind of within the pitch behind it. But it's a good type tone for that. So good type fair for like some good festivities. Get Your Shine On is a nice bop to kind of get here. It's like a day malaise kind of evening simmer, I'd say, about this one. Just basic kind of rosy sunset gaze and outdoor conduct. I'd feel about this one. Good song to drink to once again. So this one, more so than Cruise, I feel like this one's a little bit more amongst. This one just kind of feels more of like it's like some sort of summer cookout, something that would be more like 415. This is probably like a song you'd hear before Cruise, just within the pitch behind this. A little bit of like summer festivities, just like backyard kind of picnic, grilling some burgers, something like that within that relative type tone. Just smokish kind of there. It's kind of the conduct of basic countryside kind of outback type fare, just in the pitch behind it. Once again, not the most ferocious. And I would say that Cruise probably has a little bit more energy, despite the fact that that's more of like a wind down type song or a head out type song compared to Get Your Shine On. But I just feel like it's just more lazy. It's just kind of the concept of just like basic smoke sesh, basic kind of backyard music blaring within a mild type sense. It's a little bit more of a calmer type song, but it's just within the pitch of just like Get Your Shine On is just more routine type fare, just within the hangout type sense, I'd say, within that tone. So just basic country kind of kick back within residential type fare, outback type fare within it. Good type tone for that. Round Here is the third single, and this one's a little bit more work shift. You like the commerce of this particular one. Is standard makeshift within a country sense. It's like some summer evening kind of work shift wrap up, I'd say, about this song. Just a sunset gaze, kind of lazy commute, I'd feel like, about this particular one. Is relative kind of plain cruise home as far as those pitch kind of happen. Standard fare, just routine kind of outback treks, I'd say, within that pitch. Good concept for that. Just like the song says, just round here, around this neighborhood within pitch behind that. Just standard kind of conduct within it. It's the aspect of like routine kind of day. It's the aspect of standard routine kind of day. Just simple day in the life within pitches like that, I had to say about that one. But a lot of this, most of this is just kind of past like in terms of like being at the pitch of the day, there are some songs like that, but in terms of the singles, most of these are kind of more amongst the aspect of past like 4 o'clock p.m., even in the summertime when like the sun's starting to set, just a little bit more evening glimmer within that tone, but I do like these. Stay is the 4th single. This is a real nice one. This probably might be my favorite. Stay probably might be my most favorite, or probably in the top 2 of my favorite songs off these singles on here, I'd say. It's like a real dramatic and tugging kind of outback stretcher kind of get here. Just some summer glaze, I'd have to say about this one. Just radio appeal, definitely, and this is like a quality kind of countryside contemplate kind of get here. So it's just within the aspect, just like the overall it's like the kind of dramatic typeness of this particular song. This one that just has a different pitch from the rest of the album. Taylor Swift's pretty good at doing these particular type songs. Just the dramatic type flair about it. Just a different aspect from this. For the most part, it just doesn't feel so tense of the rest of this particular album. This is one that just has a little bit more of like its hair on end compared to the rest of this product. For the most part, it's pretty glazed and mellow, but this is one that just kind of feels a little bit more fleeting. Do you like the tone behind this particular pitch of this one? Just real has a good production fare on this song as well. I'd have to say, just real nice one. So, some good type pitches. But, so yeah, I recommend every song on the 11 song edition of this album. Like I said, I'll review the This Is How We Roll edition from 2013 down the road as far as those pitches can happen. But basically, out of the 11 song package from 2012, I recommend every song minus the song Hellraising Heat of the Summer. Which basically, this one's just kind of like a glaze. Hellraising Heat of the Summer was just kind of like a power stretcher as far as those pitches can happen. Just some of those type tones that just like some commerce just in mind. Just a little bit more. It's interesting kind of get some power country out this particular product. Just felt like one of those ones for like a more, it felt like a little bit lengthier traverse and just more amidst the work shift as far as those tones can happen, but just didn't nail the appeal within the tones to what I would have wanted for it. Just don't see the frequency of me. Just don't see the frequency of me listening to that particular song within the commonness of it. So it's just within the pitch behind. But this album still gets a 10 out of 10. Just I'd say some real impactful type stuff on here. So I would say one of the best songs off this particular album, a song I go back with, is definitely Party People. Really enjoyed this one quite a bit. It's like a neighborhood kind of fest, drinks passed around, kind of outback hop to kind of get within that sense. Definitely some summer glaze. I would feel like a good song to get loud and chatter to as far as those pitches kind of happen. Really like the appeal of this one. This is the sort of song that Cruise, like I like the impact of Cruise, but this is like a good type tone that's a little bit earlier in the afternoon. I would definitely feel like here, just more pitch, crown of the afternoon within that fare, just really getting some drink slosh, some of that type fare, barbecue going, pitches like that. I had to say, just some summer varieties. Really has affable melodies. Really like the hook and the overall background vocals and just the chorus work and like the way that the composition of the song really works. It's probably one of the best songs on this particular album, I'd have to say. It's overall the impact of it's very high. Real social type song, kind of get within the aspect of some festivities. Tip It Back's a good pairing with that as well. This one works pretty damn well. It's like a grand ode to drinkage, I would feel like here, just summer evening, kind of after tasks and wine, kind of get within that pitch. Basic kind of social marinade, I would feel like, but like a basic kind of social marinade, I would feel like about this song. It's very thrilling type one to kind of have within the festiveness. So just when you actually do like the stuff that like Florida Georgia Line is saying on this particular song, you tip a few beers back, a few bottles back as far as those pitches can happen. Just a real good aspect to kind of appreciate those times and have the tone of just being able to have the excitement of just like a grand afternoon and evening within that fair. So just a good unwind type one. Pretty similar to like Round Here, just a little bit, maybe kind of a good refresher, kind of get past the work shift, just the initial few moments of just gotten home and figuring out what you're going to do within the tone behind it, I'd have to say. So, good, nice one for that. Tell Me How You Like It's a pretty pitch type one. It's definitely a real nice aspect to kind of get here. It's like a rosy and kind of simmering, slower moments to kind of have with flair just within the aspect behind this one. Just some sunset gaze, kind of romance type song to kind of get within that tone. Good song for some sunset gaze, romance, and to joke as far as those pitches kind of have within the tone behind it. Just excellent aspects here. It's one of those more type, like to say, not necessarily R&B country, but just within the tone of just more romantic country, just within the sense behind it. A lot of this just has summer festivities and just work shift grind within the mind behind it. But this is one that's a little bit more with bellows in mind within the pitch, just in the tone behind it. It's a little bit more. I like good romantic kickback, kind of go within that tone. It's the same thing with Damn Baby. It's another nice highlight here. It's like a good pairing with how it's a definite good pairing with Tell Me How You Like It. I feel like this is a definite good pairing with Tell Me How You Like It. I'd have to say it's a little bit more mild and it has a little bit more mild, spicy spark about it. I had to say within this tone behind it, just a little bit more of edge factor towards not quite as glazed and just kind of more swooning within the pitch compared to Tell Me How You Like It. But this is just some nice mild spice that kind of goes along with it. Just basic kind of Outback warm up to kind of get like some good basic kind of Outback warm up to kind of get within that tone. Just kind of break the ice away as far as those pitches can happen. Good song to toke to, just in the tone behind it. Some good kickback there. It's good type conduct, so good aspects for some of that fare. Here's the good times, the title tracks, and a real nice one as well. It's like a factory kind of dope sunset gaze and gel song to kind of get within that pitch behind it. Just some basic kind of bonfire and tailgate type music to kind of have within that tone. It's like some good evening cheer. So this one goes pretty well with Get Your Shine On and Cruise within a relative sense. Some of those type ones are just more basic bonfire type music, just for the energy is a little bit more melded. There's definitely some ones on here like Tip It Back, Party People. It's just what we do have some of the more highlighted type pitch, like some more fiery type turn up. But these are some ones that just kind of have the tone and just a little bit more glazed and sense. But most of this album is pretty social within the fare behind it. But I just look after the tone. These are some ones that are just a little bit more simmering, just typical country type factor within the tone behind it. Just basic kind of tailgate type music, cruise around just in the sense of just like the basic kind of simple-minded type fare. Good, just chatter, I'd have to say. But then It's Just What We Do is another highlighted one. This is probably the most ferocious song on here, but I do appreciate Party People more. But this is like a good pairing with that. This would probably be in like the top 3 songs that like the most ferocious and the ones that really get towards getting wild to as far as those pitches gonna happen. Probably Party People is Just What We Do and Cruise. Probably with the fourth follow-up being Tip It Back, some of those type pitches, but it's just some good aspects here. So It's Just What We Do is like a summer country rock kind of bar. It's Just What We Do is like a summer country rock kind of bar hop fun to kind of get within that sense. Just some fun. It's like some fun kind of out and about, kind of on the road and in motion kind of festivity kind of have within that pitch behind it. So it's just good tone. This almost reminds me of like AC/DC or Jason Aldean in like his wilder moments just within the pitch behind it. Just real nice tone, kind of get some of that here. Just standard kind of like Outback kind of bar, almost motorcycle bar type pitch, just in the tone behind it. Just more gravel roads pitched like that. Just some good conduct to have some social commerce. Not so much around the neighborhood, just backyard kind of sippage, barbecue type fare in a local sense, but actually going some places just with the pitch behind it, just having the aspect of going some places where there's going to be cashiers and folks like that, just some places to kind of purchase things and get like some drinks and go to karaoke bars, some of those type tangents, I'd have to say. Good type tone for that. So it's just good pitch. Need to be more songs like this as well, I have to say. But the impact behind this album, it nails most of the moments on here. It has the impact behind it. You get more than one type of each style that you want. You get your tailgate type songs, you get your ferocious kind of bar hop type songs, you get your romantic type songs, get some makeshift songs. So it just has a good packaging of some of this. That's the concept. So this album gets a 10 out of 10. The social score I'm going to go ahead and give like virtually like I'll go ahead and give the social score like a 10 out of 10 as well. 4 hit singles, big smash on like the country charts as far as those pitches going to happen. 4 number ones on like the exclusive kind of country charts like the United States. So it's just some good type of appeal. It's got to a deluxe edition with the 5th single and pitches like that, some bonus type songs, just some excellent type fare to kind of get that. Just like I was saying, good varieties of some of these type of moments, just like the makeshift songs, the makeshift songs, the tailgate and bonfire party type songs, the romantic type songs, some of these type of ones on here, the sippage, kind of get crunk type songs, just in the pitch behind it, some of those type moments, the more festive, ferocious type turn up type ones. So it's just in the pitch of being able to nail a lot of these moments, just being able to do a good melded type country product, kind of get within that fare. So just like the impact of this particular product, like I was saying, a real notable type one out of the early 2010s. Just did it very distinct, had the pitches behind it, just nailed the aspect of being able to have some of this type flair and just the conduct of just having a lot of social spark with it. So, now in terms of like full-blown crossover moments, apart from Cruise, maybe it didn't have that as full bound, but definitely for like a standard kind of factory vanilla country project out of 2010s, it nails this quality in spades. I'd say it's a good pitch for that. But Cruise is definitely one of the more immediate crossover ones. Probably would say Party People and Stay are some other ones on top of that, and then definitely like some ones like It's Just What We Do, some of those type pitches I'd say, and Tell Me How You Like It. So it's just within the fair. So good impact. So in terms of the future, not as full bound. Sure what Florida Georgia Line's been up to. I know that they've dropped albums in the 2020s just within the pitch. I don't know if they had as much full blown kind of casual or charting appeal like they did back in the 2010s, but still some good aspects. Kind of similar to Jason Aldean. He puts out hits. He's pretty huge with what he does. This kind of concept that you just have to know about them. I don't know if we're going to get more crossover songs like Cruise or some of those type pitches, but yeah, classic country album here out of the 2010s. Very notable and seminal for country music. 2012, early 2010s pitches like that. Just good type pitch kind of get here and real easy to recommend.